favorite place. And if you want it all for a fraction of what you pay elsewhere, you gotta go to Ross.
Good morning, America. Deadly van massacre. New surveillance video shows that devastating attack in Toronto.
He just went on the sidewalk. He just started hitting everybody.
A driver killing at least 10, injuring 15 others on a more than mile-long rampage. The standoff with police, that suspect now in custody, and new reporting just in about his possible motive.
Also this morning, former President George H.W. Bush being treated for a dangerous infection that spread to his blood. Hospitalized just a day after his wife Barbara's funeral. The latest on his condition this morning.
Exclusive first look. Amazon's big new move starting today. Delivering packages right into your car without you even there. How does it work? And is it safe? Our live demo first on GMA.
And Duchess Kate beaming with baby number 3, leaving the hospital in heels less than 7 hours after giving birth, appearing to pay tribute to Princess Diana in this red dress with Prince William by her side, George and Charlotte stealing the show, and now everyone playing the name game.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
And we do say good morning, America. Do you love Tuesdays as much as we do? Okay, we're going to take bets on being taken on what the new royal baby's name will be. Usually we find out about 2 days after the birth. Some of the favorites right now, Arthur, Albert, and Philip, of course, after the baby's great-grandfather.
Some great choices right there. And a lot of people are comparing Princess Kate to Princess Diana with these dresses. That's Princess Diana on the left, obviously after she gave birth to Prince Harry, and Kate on the right. I think it is a nice tribute.
And how about those third babies, so chill. No crying at all.
I know, but how about Charlotte with the little royal wave that she did?
She's got it down.
Learning early.
We're going to have a lot more on that coming up. We begin with that deadly attack in Toronto, where a man drove his van onto a busy sidewalk in the middle of the day. Here's what we know right now. At least 10 people are dead, 15 injured. The 25-year-old driver is in custody after a standoff with police during which he begged to be shot. ABC's Tom Yamas is on the scene in Toronto with the latest. Good morning, Tom.
George, good morning to you. This is Yonge Street just behind me where this all happened. It remains closed at this hour. Canada's police call this one of the busiest streets in the entire country. And yesterday, a man in a rental van turned it into a killing field. This attack has shaken Canada to its core. And what may be most chilling, police still aren't exactly sure why this 25-year-old man went on his rampage. Chaos on the streets of Toronto. A rental van turned into a murder weapon. This new surveillance video shows it barreling down the sidewalk.
I just saw the guy go flying and I heard the bang, and the van just went right into him, plowed right into him.
The van plowing through pedestrians on a busy street during lunchtime, killing at least 10, injuring 15 others, some now fighting for their lives. So you're at a Starbucks, you look outside and you see people getting mowed down?
Yeah. I saw 4 people die right in front of me. They were wanting to go across the street to the mall, and their life just ended right there.
Eyewitnesses describing the panic as the van swerved across multiple lanes of traffic and up onto sidewalks, hitting people across 16 blocks.
It's really bad out there. I couldn't believe what I seen, man. It was like, oh man, everybody, all these people on the streets getting hit one by one.
This is one of the largest crime scenes I've ever seen, and that's because the path of carnage was more than a mile long. It's as far as the eye can see in both directions. The driver zooming down this street, jumping onto the sidewalk, mowing down anyone in his way. Officers finally stopping the van, leading to the standoff in this video. The driver pulling an object from his pocket, repeatedly pointing it at an officer. The driver telling the officer to kill him. But the man was not armed, and the officer never fired on him, taking him down and handcuffing him. Police identifying the driver as 25-year-old Alec Manassian. A motive still unclear, but police were seen entering his home. Neighbors tell ABC News Manassian was quiet and are in shock at what he's accused of.
This is our first great tragedy of this kind in the Toronto area. And Toronto will never be the same again.
Toronto, now a city in mourning, a makeshift memorial growing along the site of the attack. And overnight, a moment of silence at the Toronto Maple Leafs game. Fans fighting back tears as O Canada filled the arena. And that game was exactly what so many here needed, a welcome distraction from all that death and destruction. Manassian is expected in court later today, and Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is expected to address the nation later today, George.
Yeah, and Tom, listening to those eyewitnesses when I was wired up for the special report yesterday, not only the horror you get with scenes like this, but real shock that it was happening in their town.
George, that's right. I've covered a lot of these mass killings, unfortunately, and I've never seen a place that is more in shock than Toronto right now. Everywhere we go, people stop us to tell us this kind of stuff just doesn't happen in Canada. As mass killings and vehicle attacks have grown across the U.S. and parts of Europe, people in Canada say this kind of stuff just doesn't happen here. Some even telling us Canada lost some of its innocence yesterday.
Yeah, the presence of that police officer, amazing as well. Okay, Tom, thanks very much. Robin?
It really was, George. And now we're learning new details about that 25-year-old driver of the van. Let's go to our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas, for more on that end of the story. Good morning, Pierre.
Robin, good morning. Our sources are describing Alec Manassian as 25 from the Toronto area. Now, we're being told last night that he was completely suicidal. Neighbors are describing him as a loner, not social at all. In addition to searching his home, Canadian authorities are looking at his social media footprint, searching for any hint at motive, and U.S. intelligence is checking as well. But the issue law enforcement sources were talking about last night is how attack by vehicle is becoming the preferred method of assault. We don't know yet if this is terrorism, but since 2016, more than 100 people have been killed, more than 500 people have been injured in these kind of attacks. Over and over, authorities are seeing these attacks popping up. And Robin, I have to tell you, with so many streets, so many sidewalks, police simply don't know what to do.
I bet not. All right, Pierre, thank you.
Hey, Rob, we're going to get the latest now on former President George H.W. Bush. He's in the hospital this morning battling a serious infection just days after laying his wife Barbara to rest. Our senior national correspondent Matt Gutman is there in Houston. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, George. The 93-year-old former president is battling for his life at this hospital this morning. That infection you mentioned, it has spread to his blood in a condition called sepsis. Now, that could lead to fatally low blood pressure and to organ failure, which is why he's here. And he was admitted only a single day after the funeral for his wife of 73 years, Barbara. And you can see him being wheeled towards the casket by his son, George W. Bush. And in this picture after the funeral, smiling with the Clintons and the Obamas and First Lady Melania Trump. Now, President Bush and his wife Barbara have been virtually inseparable since his presidency. And he wanted to honor her one last time, wearing those socks that you see adorned with books in honor of her legacy in education. And after his presidency, George Bush has been known as something of a vital president, jumping out of an airplane on his 90th birthday, throwing out ceremonial first pitches. But over the past few years, he has had some health setbacks. He broke a bone in his neck a few years ago. He suffered pneumonia twice last year and was admitted to the hospital. And through it all, his wife Barbara had been taking care of him, monitoring what he ate, the pills he took, and one wonders what her loss in his mourning, what kind of effect that is having on his recovery. George.
Yeah, now you could see at the funeral how heartbroken he is. Okay, Matt Gutman, thanks very much. Michael.
And we'll of course, George, have the latest on President Bush all morning long. And now we're going to turn to Tennessee, where the suspect in that deadly Waffle House shooting is finally in custody, captured after a day and a half on the run. ABC's Ariel Reshef is there in Nashville. And Ariel, he was armed when police finally caught him.
That's right, Michael. That suspect was caught with one of 4 guns authorities knew he owned. It was a dramatic end to a desperate 2-day search. That takedown happening less than 1 mile from this Waffle House, the scene of that deadly rampage.
A towering quadruple murder suspect shuffled into jail, captured after a 36-hour manhunt that terrorized a community. A tip from a citizen leading to the arrest. 29-year-old Travis Reinking cornered by a swarm of officers, cuffed in the woods behind his own apartment complex.
Detective Williams drew down on the suspect. The suspect proned out. He told him to get on the ground. He got on the ground immediately.
Reinking, seen here in this video feed from court, charged with 4 counts of criminal homicide.
Do you have any question about your charges or your bond?
No, I don't.
Police say he was found with a backpack and a semi-automatic handgun with ammunition.
When he was caught, he did have a maroon shirt, dark jeans, and a black backpack with, again, a silver Kimbrough semi-automatic weapon.
Reinking had been on the run since the Sunday morning massacre at this Waffle House just outside Nashville. Police say he showed up wearing nothing but a green jacket, opening fire with this AR-15, killing 4 people before being tackled by patron James Shaw Jr. as he attempted to reload his rifle, then taking off. Grief and anguish for those lost. 23-year-old Aquila Da Silva, an aspiring rap artist. 21-year-old DeEbony Groves, a Dean's List Belmont University senior studying social work. 29-year-old Teron Sunderland, a longtime employee of Waffle House. 20-year-old Joe Perez's mother saying his family is shattered, asking for prayers.
And today we know that 2 of the victims remain in the hospital in stable condition. Reinking is being held on a $2 million bond in a maximum security jail. Michael?
And Ariel, we're hearing that the shooter's father could also face charges.
That's right, Michael. We know that in 2017, Reinking's guns were seized after he was arrested by the Secret Service. Those guns later transferred to his father. He allegedly then gave them back to his son. Authorities now looking into the actions of Reinking's father. Michael?
All right, Ariel, thank you so much for that report. George.
Okay, Mike, we're going to go to Washington now, and a big boost for the president's nominee for Secretary of State. Mike Pompeo now has a clear path to Senate confirmation after picking up a key vote from his top critic. ABC senior congressional correspondent Mary Bruce is on Capitol Hill with all the latest. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, George. Well, this was a real surprise. Mike Pompeo here was headed for an historic rebuke. But then at the very last second, Republican Senator Rand Paul flipped his vote after being given assurances directly from President Trump. That gave Pompeo enough support to clear the key Senate Foreign Relations Committee along a strict party line vote. Pompeo now heads for a full vote before the Senate, and he is expected to be confirmed later this week.
Yeah, he's going to be confirmed now, but there's new trouble for the president's Veterans Affairs Secretary pick.
Yeah, and Ronnie Jackson could be in some real trouble here, George. His confirmation hearing is set right now for tomorrow, but this morning there are new concerns about his professional conduct that are threatening to delay and possibly even derail his confirmation. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, of course, is the president's personal physician. The two we know are very close, but there have already been serious questions raised about whether he's up to the task of managing what is the second largest government agency. George.
Mary Bruce, thanks very much.
All right, George, let's bring in our chief White House correspondent, John Carl, for more on the administration's reaction to all of this. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Robin. Well, it's the tale of 2 nominations. Pompeo's nomination to be Secretary of State seemed to be headed for the first ever rejection of a Secretary of State nominee by the Foreign Relations Committee. That was averted only with the personal involvement of the president to flip a single Republican senator. As for Ronnie Jackson's nomination, though, that is far less certain. Officials privately acknowledged to me that he is in real trouble. They say the decision about whether or not to fight is really Ronnie Jackson's. They acknowledge he may decide not to go through with it. That is a very uncomfortable position to be in, Robin.
And it's another very busy day there at the White House. We know that the French president is there and the administration's first state dinner tonight. What can we expect?
Well, this is going to be a very intimate dinner. It's about 1/3 the size in terms of the guest list of the usual state dinner. 130 guests. Robin, that is 13 tables, candlelit tables of 10 people. A very warm welcome for Macron. But he comes here with some serious concerns for President Trump. For one, he is urging him not to get out of the Iran nuclear deal, something the president has signaled that he wants to do. And he also has real concerns about the president's trade policies.
We'll see what happens today. All right, John, thank you. Michael?
All right, Robin, thank you. And now to new details on royal baby number 3. Home with his family at Kensington Palace this morning, London celebrating the arrival of their newest royal, the BT Tower proclaiming it's a boy. The London Eye also lighting up in the UK's colors of red, white, and blue. ABC's James Longman is at Kensington Palace with more. Good morning to you, James.
Good morning, Michael. Yes, the baby boy waking up to his first day as a prince. We're expecting some visits very soon from perhaps the Queen and other members of the royal family.
wrapped in his mother's arms, the prince made his world debut on the steps of the Lindo Wing at St Mary's Hospital, giving what appeared to be his first royal wave, before the Duchess bundled him up to protect him from the cold. The fifth in line to the throne arriving at 11:01, weighing in at 8 pounds and 7 ounces, making him the heaviest royal baby in over a century. While Prince George and Princess Charlotte stopped by to visit their new little brother, the princess stealing the show, waving excitedly to cameras. Prince William and the Duchess seen leaving the hospital just 7 hours after the baby was born. William now skilled at putting a car seat in the car, managing the feat in just one click. The new dad joking with the press.
Roy's worried now.
And addressing questions about the name.
I expect the baby to have 3 names. The bookmakers are going for Arthur or Albert. In terms of middle names, I think Philip is an absolute pretty rock-hard certainty, if there is such a thing. Philip would be a lovely tribute to William's grandfather.
Well-wishers pouring in for the new family, including from former First Lady Michelle Obama, who shared this photo of her husband shaking hands with the young Prince George, writing, "Barack and I are thrilled to congratulate the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge on their newest arrival. We hope to meet him soon for a Kensington Palace pyjama party. I'll wear my robe."
And now the guessing game, as we heard there, over his name has begun. Philip is a real possibility after his great-grandfather. Older royal names, possibly Arthur. And even, yes, James is still in the mix.
I know that's the one you're pulling for, James. But, you know, we're used to it being a lot more formal than it is right now. This young royal family, they're doing things a lot differently.
Well, that's right, Michael. I mean, look, let's not kid ourselves. This is the royal family, the most famous family in the world. They live in palaces like this. But William and Kate, they like to do things differently. We've seen that time and time again. Kate, for instance, likes to take her kids on their school run in the morning. Last night, the baby would have been brought back here to Kensington Palace, apartment number 1A, where their nursery was waiting for the little baby boy. It's themed as in a Peter Rabbit theme. And like I said, the parents like to be hands-on. William, we're told, likes bath time. He enjoys doing that. And that's very different, I think, from his upbringing and that of his brother Harry. Prince Charles and Diana, they had a lot of staff in the house. William and Kate, they do things very differently. They're on first name terms with many of their staff. They just have really a housekeeper and a nanny. So things are pared down to try to make it as normal as possible. But I think we should also remember, of course, that these young princes and the princess, they will grow up. We will be stood here possibly waiting as they get married and have children of their own. They will always be under an international spotlight. But for the moment, this is a family that wants to keep their kids having as normal childhood as possible. Guys?
All right, thank you so much, James. As normal as possible.
Good luck with that.
Royals, George, they're just like us.
Just like us. Let's go over to Rob.
Hey, George, we had some flooding across the south, over 4 inches of rain in Atlanta yesterday. This picture out of Savannah, flooding there, and north of and around Nashville, severe flooding there. This rain is going to be slowly marching up the East Coast throughout the day. Today, D.C., Baltimore, eventually into New York and Boston. Tomorrow, substantial rains coming. Time now for your Tuesday trivia, brought to you by Sensodyne Pronamel.
Enamel is the strong white outer layer of your tooth surface. The thing that's really important to dentists is to make sure that that enamel stays strong and resilient for a lifetime. The more that we can strengthen and reharden that tooth surface, the whiter their patient's teeth are going to be. Dentists are going to really want to recommend Pronamel Strong and Bright. It helps to strengthen and reharden the enamel. It also has stain lifting action. It's going to give their patients the protection that they need and the whiter teeth that they want.
Stay rain gear ready, folks. We've got a good soaking of rain coming our way over the next 2 days. It's a 90% chance today. In fact, some moderate to heavy rain for your afternoon and evening, even your overnight. Occasional showers tomorrow, 70% chance. And now we've introduced a little bit of rain into our forecast for Friday. So for today, again, you'll want the umbrella ready. The big one for later, 53 the temperature by 3 o'clock today. On the cooler side, tomorrow's high 67, upper 60s by the end of the week.
Coming up, the former Smallville actress Allison Mack facing sex trafficking charges for her alleged involvement with that secret self-help group that recently made headlines.
And we're going to give you an exclusive first look at Amazon's brand new Key app. It's launching today, delivering packages into your car even when you're not there. We're going to try it out live right here on GMA.
Innovation. It's not just